what happened? Because she never said she was lonely right here, correct? Yes or no?
Correct.
Okay. And you did double text here, yes or no? Correct. Knowing, and it said on her profile 13, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
So really quickly, before I jump into this news, take a moment to leave a like on this video because this is going to get demonetized with the quickness, and I don't really care about not making money on this video, guys. It's just the fact that once your video gets demonetized, then your video won't be shown to a new audience, and we're still trying to grow this channel. We're on the grind to 100K subs, so every like really makes a difference in combating demonetization and at least allowing you guys to see the video. So it's been a while since I last made a video on this channel, and it's because I couldn't really find anything that was worth making a video on since the Bad Baby OnlyFans dropped. So if you guys ever have any suggestions or you have any other content that you'd like covered on this channel, feel free to tweet it at me. Feel free to Instagram DM me. Feel free to tag me on Twitter and Instagram in crazy controversies like this, as I really try to make a push on this channel to get you guys additional information that isn't necessarily based around sports, but could be derivatives of sports. And what I mean by derivatives of sports is EDP 445, the individual that we're making a video on today, is originally, started out as a YouTuber that would rant about how horrible it was to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Now, bear in mind, this man went through a lot. As a guy that is in the NFC East and is a Dallas Cowboys fan and knows the definition of pain, I've seen the ups and downs that the Philadelphia Eagles went through this past decade. And EDP definitely capitalized upon that in order to establish his presence early on, making videos about crazy stuff the Eagles did, like trading LaShawn McCoy, firing Chip Kelly, trading for Sam Bradford, signing DeMarco Murray, and inevitably drafting and then trading Carson Wentz, and of course, winning the Super Bowl. We're talking about one of the most memeable individuals that I think have been on YouTube over the past decade. If you're a football fan and you consume YouTube content, chances are that you know who this individual is. And over time, what started with NFL content eventually transitioned into EDP 445, just really putting his personality on display. Clips that would be fairly crude in nature or acts that were crude in nature or solo intimate moments that my man would have by himself would often be reported to his audience with a comedic presentation. As a young kid in high school, I personally found this to be extremely entertaining, and as I grew up, obviously I grew out of it. But just like I grew up and I grew out of EDP 445's humor, so did YouTube. So as a result, as time progressed forward, EDP 445 would eventually earn less revenue on his content because his content would get demonetized. So despite having 2.22 million subscribers, the man doesn't necessarily earn a good living off of YouTube like he would if he was a more advertiser-friendly YouTuber, such as a finance channel like Graham Stephan, or even various sports channels like the Pat McAfee Show. Nevertheless, EDP 445 had this remarkable ability to stay relevant throughout his entire career, but the way in which he would maintain relevance by simply pushing the boundaries of controversy, which I don't necessarily know if it is the best means of maintaining relevance in this new age of new media, and while trying to stay advertiser friendly to at least get paid and monetized. But to each their own, because obviously we all know who EDP is, and he's relevant enough for me to make this video on him. And I don't necessarily know if today's video is actually something that he did, or is something he got caught doing, or if it's something that was scripted. And no matter what the situation is here, it's all extremely bad, whether it's scripted or not. Here's what you have to know. A page called Predator Poachers V6 posted a fairly interesting video onto their social media page. Now, bear in mind, at the time that I'm making this video, Predator Poachers V6 isn't that notorious, isn't that well known. They have about 20,000 followers on Instagram, and they're still growing. And to get an idea of what they do, they're pretty much an amateur To Catch a Predator. So for those of you guys that don't know what To Catch a Predator is, it was a show that was fairly popular that was hosted by Chris Hansen, in which Chris Hansen would attempt to lure older men to a specific location by posing as a little kid. When the older individual would approach the house or the location where they were supposed to meet, the predator would get caught. Then they would ask him a bunch of questions before he inevitably would get arrested and sent to jail. So Predator Poachers actually has an extensive history on the platform because they tried to make a YouTube channel. They were eventually taken down because obviously that's not advertiser friendly enough for YouTube. So now they're trying to make a comeback via Instagram and, of course, via a YouTube channel called Chet Goldstein. So what this page tried to do here and succeeded in doing, and this is where it gets very crazy to me, is they posed as a 13-year-old girl. And look, I can't exactly post all of these messages onto my YouTube channel because, of course, this video could get flagged and we could lose the video. So I'm going to try to cover as much of it as I can and show you as many messages as I can on this video. But for the rest, you may have to go to my Instagram and check out my Instagram story. It will be reposted over the next week. But check this out. Here's the first post. It's a picture of EDP just standing there with, honestly, an expressionless face. And you see this very uncomfortable message exchange where EDP sends this supposed little kid, "Kiss your daddy goodnight, LOL, sleep tight princess." Which right away, if you look at this picture, like, okay, this is very legitimate and obviously it's very uncomfortable. I mean, like, dude, look at the man's face. Like, doesn't that make you feel uncomfortable? But unfortunately, there's so many more messages to this. Like, check this out. The first bit of this message is cut off, but you could see EDP saying, "You just have complete and total power over me." You know, the Predator Poachers posing as this little kid say, "You make me feel some type of way." And then EDP saying, "Same here, you drive me crazy beyond control. I want you to have mind control over me. Totally treat me like the naughty boy I've been." And then at the very bottom, you see him say, "Kiss me, please." I have multiple takes onto this situation, and some are not going to be as popular as the others, but I'm obviously going to always keep it real with you guys because I am who I am and you guys like listening to me. The very first thing that pops into my mind is it's very tough to not feel empathetic for a man that's down as bad as EDP 445. Just looking at the guy, you could clear that he's never had any success with women. He's definitely an incel, and it's gotten so bad that this is the only attention that he can get. Now that we got the only bit of empathy I have for this terrible human being out of the way, we need to also hold ourselves accountable as a society for giving this man a platform to boost his ego and thinking it's okay to be who he is. Because the warning signs have always been there if you were an EDP fan. He makes constant jokes about his personal intimacy, and it got so out of hand that he was even sending this little kid messages such as this. And obviously this entire message will be posted in its entirety in my story, but check this out. "What you doing? I have this toy, it's called a blank, and I'm going to blank it. I couldn't help myself. Oh, how does it look?" And he goes into the absolute description of every little detail about his solo intimate life with a little kid. So pretty much I stick my inside of here and it's supposed to feel like I'm sure you could use your imagination. Doubt it, but it feels amazing. You lube it up and you stroke. And then of course he sends the actual picture of the item that he is describing to this 13-year-old kid. What's more demented about this entire situation is if you look at the video of him getting caught and him getting questioned, he doesn't deny any of it.
What happened? Because she never said she was lonely right here, correct? Yes or no? Correct. Okay. And you did double text her, yes or no? Correct. Knowing, and it said on her profile 13, yes? Correct. Okay. So you initiated a conversation with a 13-year-old knowing she was 13, yes or no? Correct. Okay.
This is your 5th or 6th time.
Do I deserve to go to jail if I'm being honest with you?
You don't think so?
I think so.
You think so?
Okay.
And he seems so calm. A part of me even thought that this was scripted because he's not even trying to put his shirt over his head or deny that it is him. He's just sitting there and answering these guys' questions about the entire exchange, and his fully accountable for it. A part of me is questioning whether he truly believes what he does is wrong, and I believe that's where all of my empathy for this individual goes completely down the toilet. Because even though he is completely down bad, an individual of this nature is extremely dangerous for our society, and we should hold ourselves all accountable for making him think it's okay to say the things he does on the internet or do the things he does, because this is obviously the result of that. We all laugh when he comes out and says that his hand went numb from the stuff he does to himself, and obviously that gives him the idea that the way he goes about his day-to-day life and his humor is okay because the masses think it's okay, and the masses think it's funny. Nevertheless, we're definitely going to be covering this more because the legitimate video of this is supposed to come out on Monday. But for now, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about EDP 445? Did this change your opinion about him, or did you have a feeling that he was like this the whole time? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm going to drop our mic until our next upload.